Hi everybody, this is Pam with Jesus Junk Journals, and we are going to sew the signatures together today. So you'll want to get yours all sorted out, however many signatures you're going to do and so on. Now I told you that I was going to take everything out. I changed my mind. That was a lot. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So what I did is I went through and I pulled out the stuff that was loose and that might have just gotten in the way, and then that's over here in a pile. And I'm going to attempt to stitch my signatures together as they are. So I think it'll work. I don't think it'll be too bad. I'm going to start with, actually I need to make sure this page is in here. Make sure all your pages are the way you want them. Especially if you have cloth pages, you don't want those to shift. And believe it or not, I'm going to add a page. I got this package of handmade paper a while back on Amazon, and it's like a rainbow of different colors. And I decided, I had a piece and I glued it to something, and it just really didn't look very pretty when it was glued down, because what's pretty about it, and I don't know how to show it to you, but it's translucent, and I think it would make a better page just as an extra little page going through a journal, just for texture and beauty, not to really hold anything, just to enjoy the paper itself. And so I decided that I was going to put some of that in. And of course, I want to do my favorite color. And let's see what else I have. I'm going to do, I think I'll do the orange, because there's a fair amount of orange in this. And they've given me kind of 3 different oranges. So I'm just going to use, do I want that one? Actually, I'm going to use the brighter one. What I need to do, because it's going to be a little bit too big, is take one of my pages. Do I have any that haven't got edges on it? I just want to see how much I need to trim off here. So I'm going to mark that with a pencil. Pencil's fighting me, doesn't want to come out in the light. Okay, and then also on the other side, this much. And then I'll do both of them that way. So I think this is the thicker one, so I'll put these papers in these two. And let me see if I can see. That might be a good place to put that one. Okay, I think that one's all right. Let me see if I find an orange. Oh yeah. There's orange. I could put that here. Okay, I think that'll work pretty well. So I'm getting ready to sew my signatures, and I'm going to do 3 times the height of the signature. So 1, 2, 3 out of my waxed linen thread. And get my darning needle out here, or my upholstery needle. If you haven't done this before, you can get these kits on Amazon. They used to be around $12, and you'd get a bunch of waxed linen thread and an awl and needles and all that good stuff. I don't know how much they are now, but all right. So there is that. Got my packing, my styrofoam here so that I don't poke anything with the needle. And I'm going to find the middle of this, and I'm going to make sure everything is pushed down really well. And I'm going to take my awl. Now, I don't put a lot of fuss when I do my signatures. I know a lot of people make a big deal about it. I do not. You're going to do a figure 8. It's no big deal. I haven't had any big problems with any of my journals that I've bound. So I just eyeball it. I look for the center, poke a hole, and then I come, probably an inch or so from the edge on this side and an inch or so down here. Poke a hole. And then you figure out where you want your ends to be, your string ends. If you want them to be in the middle where you can tie charms on or anything like that, you would start from the inside. If you don't want them to show, you start from the outside. So I'm going to start back here and poke it through, pull it so that I have about that much of a tail. And then I'm going to poke it through the top hole, and it's pulling through like that. And then the only tricky part is you don't want to touch this thread when you come back through the middle hole. So you kind of want to hold this down. It's almost like you need another hand, because you want to hold that down out of your way, and then you're going to go back through that same hole and hopefully not touch this string, because if you get your needle into that string, you're probably going to have to start over. And let's see if I can get it to come through. I am, but I can't tell if I've hooked my thread or not. So let me grab it. Nope, I guess I didn't. Good. All right. And then you just stick it back through that top hole and pull it tight, pull your needle out, and then you want to pull your thread real tight. Get all the any extra loose thread. You want to pull it tight. So pull it tight and tie. I tie like 3 knots because I don't know what I'm doing, but a double knot just doesn't do it for me. It's pulled loose before. And I'm just going to cut mine off. And see, this is why normally I measure out 2.5 times, because there's always this extra waste and I don't like to waste it. So I'll go back to my old way here on the next one. So that one's all done. It's all stitched up. And we go on to the second one. It's kind of hard because I've got that accordion pocket and it takes up room and throws it off. Okay, so I've got these all lined up. You want to make sure it's all pushed down. You can take a ruler even and push it down so they're all touching in the spine. You do not want to open it up and do your holes. You always want it almost shut. It makes a difference. And I'm going to eyeball it. That looks fine. And come up here a little ways from the end. Down here a little ways from the end. Now if you're going to show it or you stitch it to a spine and you want it all nice and even, I mean, I'm going to do that later. I'm not going to make it even, but I'm going to sew it to a spine. If you are going to do that and you want it to show, then of course you're going to draw circles and you're going to measure and you're going to make sure all this goes exactly the same on all 3. And it does look nice. And I have done that before, but we're not doing that now because I've got a hidden spine for these. So I don't care. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over. Now this again is where you don't want to catch that thread. So I'm going to come right up here at the top of that hole and hope. And worst case scenario, you can go 1 page at a time and work it in there to where it needs to be. And it looks like it's going to make me do that this time. I think this accordion pocket. See how I'm going in there and I'm poking it through that page, and then I'm poking it through the next page, and there it is. So don't panic, it's all doable. And as you can see, I'm not using clamps, and it'll all be fine. Now I'm going to stick it in this hole, and probably have to work it around too because I've shifted the pages, but there. Okay. So I'm going to pull the tail out, pull the needle off, pull the thread tight, and pull that knot there in the center, tie it a couple more times just to be extra secure. And there is that one bound. Okay. So as you can see, it all works fine, no problems. So now we're going to do the third one. So 1, 2, 2.5. So we're going to get all our pages lined up, make sure everything looks right, find the center, poke our hole. I'm going to take this ruler just to make sure everything is pushed down and all the way. Take my awl, put it in the middle, up at this end, and down at that end. Come in from the back. There it is. And pull the tail so you've got about that much sticking out here. This is the most I've had these pages. I've never been this loosey-goosey with my binding. See, there it goes. And I'm going to hold this down. There it is. Poke it through this hole. Pull off your needle. Pull your string really tight. And you're done. Got all your signatures done. So now I'm ready to go on to the next thing, which will be on the next video. I'm going to stop for now. And the next thing I'm going to do is cut out my spine and my front and my back out of cardboard for my base, and go on with the process of binding my journal. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.